Private Ryan clutched the hedgerow, his M1 Garand slick with sweat when the air split open not with a crack, but a chainsaw whine that tore through cotton uniforms like they were rice paper. That was the MG42, Hitler's buzzsaw, ripping 1,200 rounds a minute. But it wasn't the blistering speed that turned hardened Gias into whimpering kids. It was the cold math. By the time your ears registered the first snarl, the gunner had already walked the barrel across your squad, and your chest was just evaporating mist. Normandy, June 1944. Omaha Beach was a slaughter pen, but the bocage country inland turned it into a meat grinder. Endless hedgerows, 6 feet thick with roots older than America, funneled Gias into kill zones like rats in a trap. Sergeant Hale's platoon learned that the hard way on D+3. They crested a rise near Steak Low, expecting crouched stragglers, not a nest of those devil guns camouflaged in the earth like vipers. Hale dropped. First, his helmet jumped off his head in 3 clean bursts, skull fragments painting the foxhole wall before he hit the dirt. The sound hit like a circular saw-biting bone, brarop then silence, reloaded in 4 seconds flat. Private Ellis froze, urine soaking his boots, calculating odds. One gun covered 500 yards of open field. Tracers floated lazy arcs at dusk, hypnotizing you into standing still. He dove behind a wrecked half-track, felt the ground shudder as rounds chewed the chassis, sparks flying like hellfire. "Keep your damn heads down." "Hale's loss," Rasp echoed. But the MG42 didn't care about screams. It chewed through ammo belts like candy, overheating barrels swapped by gloved hands that never missed. Ellis survived by playing dead. Shrapnel from a ricochet carving his thigh, the whine haunting his dreams for weeks, knowing one twitch, and it'd unzip him from groin to throat. Geese called it the bone mill for a reason. No heroism, just physics. Your body mass versus lead storm. Lost. Weeks later, the same platoon punched toward Aachen, hearts pounding under steel tracks, rumbling like Judgment Day. That's when the Tiger Eye loomed from the Mista 68-ton beast, 100 millimeters frontal armor, thicker than a Sherman-S entire hull. No panic like facing a Tiger. Your 75 millimeters guns bounced off like you'd fire 20 hold-down shots. Watch orange flashes bloom harmlessly. Then it replied with the 88 millimeters KWK-36, a freight train cannon that vaporized tanks at 2 miles. Corporal Vance saw it first through his binoculars. Squat turret swiveling slow, deliberate, like a predator scenting blood. Tiger, bail out. But the radio crackled static. The commander's tank was already a fireball, turret blown skyward in a geyser of flame and twisted steel. Vance's Sherman bucked backward as the 88 slammed home, boom not thunder, but a pressure wave that ruptured eardrums, hull crumpling inward like tinfoil. He bailed through the escape hatch, scorched air, blasting his face, crewmates crisping inside as ammo cooked off in chain explosions, running zigzag across the orchard, mud-sucking boots. He felt the earth convulsive. Steiger shot a seismic event. Trees splintering 200 yards out. The beast tracked him lazily, coaxial MG chattering. But it was the psychological gut punch. Invincible. Allies threw everything. Bazookas fizzled on sloped glacis plates. PIATs warped mid-flight from the heat. One GI swore he saw a Tiger shrug off a direct V1 buzz bomb, rolling forward to crush foxholes under 30-ton tracks, treads grinding bone to paste. Vance hid in a shell crater, sobbing quietly. The diesel growl, circling like a shark. By dawn, it withdrew, leaving 18 wrecks smoldering. Survivors etched natches, not for kills, but for Tigers faced each one. A dice roll with loaded die. Bulge Winter would prove it again. Bastogne and Tigers prowling snowfields, turning Gias into ghosts before they fired. But the Tiger's shadow paled against the Nebelwerfer's prelude to madness, waiting in the hurt-gone forest gloom. No explosion announced it, just a banshee wail. Screaming Mimi rockets shrieking like damned souls, twisting psyches before shrapnel arrived. Ellis's platoon, frostbitten and ragged, strung out along the Col Trail in November 44. Fog clung like wet wool, pines dripped ice, Then it started EOI OWW-L6 barrels, spitting 150mm rockets in fan pattern. The sound burrowing into your skull like fingers scratching coffin lid. Not whistles or boom scrims, engineered terror from fins that modulated pitch to mimic human agony. Lance Corporal Ruiz clutched his entrenching tool, eyes bulging. "They're coming for us!" Listen, they're screaming. Psychological warfare. Men broke cover, hallucinating ghosts, charging into open kill zones. First salvo arced invisible. Then WW2's erupted in 50-yard craters. Pine shards flying like bayonets. Blast waves hurling bodies into trees with wet snaps. Ellis hit the deck, packed needles, shredding his pack, the wail looping in his brain even after silence. Nebel for smoke. But everyone knew the lie. They'd saturate a grid in 10 seconds flat, reload via bicycle wheels, cranked by laughing crews. Guys huddled fetal, praying for artillery counter-battery. But the screams returned. Louder, homing. On fear, one rocket skewered, Ruiz mid-prayer. Torso vanishing in red mist, legs twitching 20 feet away. The forest became a charnel house. Limbs dangling from branches, screams blending with rocket howls until you couldn't tell man from machine. Hurtgen claimed sen Americans. Mimis claimed their sanity first. Ellis crawled out at dusk, ears ringing hymns of the damned, forever flinching at wind through wires. Deeper horrors lurked in bunkers, where the Flammenwerfer 35 waited, hissing promise of live cremation. Private Ellis wedged into the Siegfried Line pillbox near the Rhine, February 45, the concrete throat of hell, itself cramped, reeking of cordite and unwashed fear. His squad had cleared 3 bunkers. That dawn bazookas punching holes, grenades, chasing screams. But this one was different. Arndor jar black soot, smeared like finger paint from prior probes. Lance Corporal, eyes, the new guy from Brooklyn, kicked it wider, flashlight beam slicing the gloom. Clear Krauts bugged out. Ellis's gut twisted no victory lap, just the drip of meltwater echoing his pulse. Then, Deis, not a bullet snap or rocket wail, but a serpent's exhale from the shadows facas igniting 10 seconds of napalm-thick fuel at 1,000 degrees, turning air to furnace breath. The Flammenwerfer 35 operator lunged from a side embrasure, backpack tank hissing under grey wool, nozzle spitting orange hell 30 yards. Haze vaporized mid-step, uniform ignited like flash paper. Skin bubbling black in a heartbeat, his shriek cut short as lungs boiled. Ellis dove left, concrete searing his palms. The whoosh painting walls in liquid fire that clung, dripped, devoured. Heat punched. Like a stylish is singed. Lips cracking the stench of roasting pork flooding nostrils. No escape in a bunker. Flames licked corners, sucking oxygen until breaths rasped coals. He clawed for the rear tunnel, boots slipping on hazes, molten remains puddled fat, sizzling on rebar. The gunner advanced deliberate, visor fogged but relentless, fuel pump whining rhythmic under the roar. GIs hated flamethrowers. Not for distance, they maxed 40 yards, but the intimacy, he'd hose your whole, watch you dance, then step over char for the next. Ellis's Thompson chattered blind into the blaze, rounds cooking off in the stream, but the Kraut laughed wet through his mask, sweeping the barrel low. Private Kowalski, behind a steel plate, caught the backdraft flames, curled around edges, igniting his hair, face erupting in blisters that popped like overripe fruit. Mother of God, it's eat in me. His convulsions shook the floor, nails raking concrete bloody ribbons before silence, body a twisted candle. Ellis burst into the connecting chamber, lungs fire-sawed, vision tunneling black from hypoxia. The squad's demomen, Sergeant Mills, primed satchel charges, but the hiss pursued relentless, probing like a tongue. Flammenwerfer crews thrived on this. One man with 1,100 psi tank, invincible in close quarters where grenades bounced wrong, rifles overheated. Anzio 44 had broken Platoon G is storming Italian caves, only to meet the spouted doorways, roasting alive in piles that blocked advances. Here, Mills hurled the charge. It detonated short, shrapnel pinging harmlessly off the tank. The gunner pivoted, flames jetting ceilingward, igniting beams that rained embers. Heat warped Ellis's dog tags into his chest. Sweat flash boiling off skin. He smelled his own cooking meat. Desperation scripted survival. Ellis grabbed a fallen MP40 from a prior kill. Rammed the bayonet into the fuel line, snaking from the backpack. Puncture fuel spewed unignited, slicking the floor. The Kraut wheeled. Nozzle questing, but Ellis fired point-blank into the tank rupture. Boom, not explosion, but pressure breach. Backpack erupted in self-fed inferno, engulfing the operator. He staggered, arms pinwheeling, flames jetting wild from his own mouth in a suicide gargle, collapsing atop Kowalski and a pyre. The squad staggered out, faces raw, eyes streaming Vance from the Tiger days among them, whispering, burned M with their own devil. But no triumph lingered. Flamethrowers scarred psyches deeper than shrapnel. Nightmares weren't the blaze, but the prelude. That intimate hiss, promising not quick death, but drawn-out agony. GIs in the bulge recounted casino horrors. Entire companies cooped in Gothic line nests. Screams echoing hours after flames died. Fat rendering slow in sealed tombs. One vet carved tally marks for bunkers cleared, but crossed out those with flamen tags. Lost brothers, clawing walls blind, begging shots to end it. Ellis bandaged alone that night, peeling charred gloves from fingers, the Rhine wind carrying phantom his technology of despair. 20 liters per tank, enough for 3 squads. Cremation, wielded by men who smelled victory and barbecue. Word spread through the line: avoid bunkers, call engineers, but delays cost lives. In the Ruhr pockets, April 45, Hale's remnants down to 12 hit a complex near Dawn raid. Satchel teams forward. Hiss again, from a slit to narrow for grenades. Corporal Ruiz's ghost would approve flames hit, claiming 2-point men in synchronized agony. Their shadows fused 2 walls like Pompeii. Vance flanked, phosphorus grenade arcing true ignited the stream mid-air, backwashing into the operator's vents. The bunker became a blast furnace, venting smoke like dragon breath. But not before the horror show. Men charring fetal, dog tags melting into spines. Survivors emerged ghosts, lips sealed by blisters, communicating nods. Flammenwerfer didn't kill squaws, it unraveled them, planting seeds of hesitation. Charge, a nest, or bypass. Let it fester. Ellis etched the truth in his journal by foxhole glow. We feared the buzzsaw for speed, the tiger for armor, the Mimi for madness. But the flames, it stripped manhood, raw-reduced U2 animal thrash, praying for blackout before nerves fried. No medals for those fights. Just skin grafts and silence. The Wehrmacht's final curse, hissing long after Berlin fell. Yet in victory's ash, GIs wondered, what if we'd faced it en masse? The thought chilled deeper than any Ardennes frost. Victory came ragged, but the nightmares didn't quit. Ellis shipped home in May 45, V-Day ticker tape sticking to his bandages like mocking confetti. But the Wehrmacht's arsenal echoed in every shadow. Ruhr Valley mop-up had been the crescendo Hale's ghosts, down to 8 skeletal frames, assaulting factory warrens where Germans fought cornered, desperate, every tool a death sentence. Dawn breached a rail yard pillbox cluster, fog off the Rhine, veiling vents. No warning prelude, just the familiar demons converging. Vance led point bazooka, slung when the tiger's cousin growled from a sidetrack, sitting a panther, slimmer but no less biblical, 80mm glacis, shrugging bazooka rounds like rain. It traversed, 75mm barking seismic track, exploding in Vance's face, shrapnel unzipping his jaw. He rolled into a drainage ditch. Blood-bubbling prayers, as the beast crunched forward, crushing a jeep flat with screams cut to gurgles. Simultaneously, MG-42 nests atop slag heaps, unleash brar-up chainsaws sinking into a lead blizzard, stitching the yard in ricochet geometry. G is fragmented mid-charge. Torsos pulped 2 ropes of meat dangling from girders. Ellis flanked, low, heart-slumming barrel staves, the Bussaw's math unyielding. 25 rounds per second. Your silhouette a bullseye in the haze. Then the skies wept Mimis. Nebelwerfer batteries, hidden in warehouse ruins, cranked heavenward yowl. Banshees multiplying, a chorus of flayed souls, twisting guts before impacts. Rockets fanned 300 yards, detonating in interlocking fireballs that hurled railcars skyward, molten wheels raining like judgment. Private Lomax knew blood from stateside, clutched Ellis's boot. "They're alive screaming our names." Psyche snapped. He bolted upright into the open MG42, claiming him in a red zipper from boot to brow. Ellis pinned prone, dirt fountaining around his nose, the whales burrowing eternal hurtgun flashbacks, merging with now forest ghosts in urban hell. Flamethrowers sealed the symphony. From a concrete bunker fused to the boiler house, dual hisses slithered out by FFFF, twin serpents questing 35 yards through door slits. One caught Sergeant Mills' redux. The demo vet flames hosed his foxhole, igniting demo packs prematurely. His silhouette danced inverted against the wall. Arms fused to ribs in a charcoal embrace. The whoosh sucking air until vacuum popped his eyes. Heat mirage warped the yard napalm streams, arcing lazy, clinging to foxholes like syrup, turning cover to ovens. Ellis smelled it first. Pork fat flash boiling. Then his own sleeve smoldering. The operators advanced tandem, backpack tanks bulging like hunchbacks, nozzles sweeping rhythmic, laughing through filters at the thrash. No squat purity. It was individual calculus now. Ellis slow crawled under a gondola car, fuel puddling inches away, sizzling tracks. Vibration hummed through his teeth, a tiger circling, treads pulverizing brick to powder. Mimi salvos reloaded distant, whistles probing. MG nests reloaded too, gloved hands blurring. He palmed a thermite grenade from Lomax's harness, cooked it live under the gondola rim. Hiss pursued, flames licked the undercarriage, igniting oil drums. Backdraft boomed, flash roasting the lead Flammenwerfer tank, rupturing in a self-devouring geyser. His partner engulfed collateral, staggering blind into the Panther's track, pulped mid. The Panther halted. Turret casing, but Ellis triggered the thermite onto its engine deck vents. White-hot magnesium gnawed armor. Crew bailing into MG42 crossfire bodies, jerking marionettes, collapsing in heaps. Nebel rockets overshot, crayering the yard's heart, silencing the nests temporarily. Hale's remnants surged. Thompson's barking point blank into bunker slits, payback raw. They cleared the yard by noon, 22 krauts charred or shredded. But victory tasted ash. Ellis slumped against a twisted tie beam, peeling blistered palms. The quartet's legacy, etched, neural, buzzsaws, inevitability, stripping hope. Taiga's godhood mocking firepower. Mimi's wail fracturing minds. Preach flame spitter's caress, promising exquisite torment. No single king pinned together, a orchestra of dread, tuned to unravel Yanks from farm boys to fanatics. Postor Psychevels buried it shallow. Vets like Ellis twitched at chainsaws idling garages, froze at diesel semis rumbling pre-dawn, flinched at fireworks whistles, avoided barbecues where grills hissed, propane ghosts. One bulged survivor, Tiganasht, torched his own Vita scale model after Mimi dreams. Hurtgen platoons dissolved, stateside divorces spiking, suicides veiled as accidents. Floman scars ran deepest, skin grafts itched phantom burns, but Psyche's blazed eternal. Replaying haze bubbling, Kowalski clawing. Ellis's journal, mailed home pre-discharge, warned, "We beat the machines, but they colonized us." MG42, taught physics, owns men. Tiger, that size devours will. Mimi, sound is sharper than steel. Flammenwerfer fire reclaims flesh primal. He burned pages later, but echoes persisted. Korea vets nodded, knowing it as Teleskami burp guns echoing MG snarls, T-34's kin to tigers. Vietnam tunnels birthed new decades dulled edges, but VI anniversaries stirred it. 1944-45's meat grinder forged reticence. GIs didn't boast tiger duels or bunker roasts. They drank quiet, toasting absent brothers, pulped, wailed, burned. The Wehrmacht's feared for not weapons predators, embedding instinctual terror, ensuring surrender costlier than fight. Ellis died 82, flamethrower, hiss, on his last exhale, per nurse notes. His headstone, faced the devils, prevailed. Haunted. Invoke forests, bunkers. Those tools didn't just kill, they imprinted survival's invoice. Every advance paid in flinching souls. America won the war, but those they carried the Reich's growl home. A perpetual buzzsaw in the quiet.